Hello and welcome to HOFA-College here, streaming from the HOFA studios in Karlsdorf in the south of Germany. We make a new workshop today about a special topic, a special task actually. Usually we stream our workshops exclusively in the online campus for our students at HOFA-College, but today we make an exception and have a quite common topic for everybody, so we stream on YouTube especially. I would like to welcome those of you at home, those of you who are students at the HOFA-College, and those of you who are just guests today. If you have any questions, the live chat is online. It's active, I can see that. Just type it in and I try to answer your questions. So, topic for today is quick mix for dummies. Dummies sounds always a little bit like as if we would think you are dummies. That's not the way it's meant. Actually, we want to say that anybody could do a quick mix, or actually it's called rough mix, whichever way you want. Some people say quick mix, some people say rough mix. What is it actually? What is a rough mix or what is a quick mix? Usually you take a lot of time. You produce a song. Let's talk now about a single song. You produce a song, you write a song, you arrange a song, you record a song, and then actually as the next step, after editing a little bit, you start to mix the song. Mixing could take a while, depending on what goal you want to achieve and depending on which direction you want to choose, and especially depending on what material you have recorded or what audio signals you have. Mixing could take a while, and it takes a lot of effort, and you should take breaks in between and so on and so forth. So sometimes you need a mix in a very quick time. That means, let's say, you want to talk to a record company, for example. You want to talk to a record company and you want to send them your new song you have, or your A&R manager asks you, hey, new song, let's hear it. I want to hear it so that we can, talk about it or have some ideas how to promote it and so on. So you need a quick mix, or you make a small video, a small reel for YouTube, or maybe for some other platform, for social media or something like that, and you want to put your new song actually in the background as music, but you don't have a mix yet. So you need a quick mix. And actually, a song is not good because the mix is good, or a song is not bad because the mix is bad. It's always the song itself. So actually you could actually, how should I explain it? Get a picture of it in a very short way without being in perfect audio quality. Let me put it like that. You could always adjust here a little bit more, adjust there, spatiality. You could, the stereo panorama, whatever it is, you could always go in detail. You could carve out frequencies from each signal you have. You could boost the drums. You could make whatever you can make. But to display the song, actually, you don't need much. If the song works, if the song is good, actually, it's a very quick thing to make a quick mix, a rough mix. And this is actually not an unnecessary step, because when you start mixing, the way you start mixing is already the quick mix or the rough mix. There are, of course, different approaches. And to be honest, you could do it anyway. Any way you want, you could do a rough mix or a quick mix. You could just put the signals on and put them a little bit together with the levels. And then you have sort of a picture of the song. And all these different approaches, some people, they put like these presets, plug-in setups on each track to have a little bit enhancement or something like that. Or they put like a exciter or something like that on the stereo out to make it a little bit brighter, a little bit bigger, deeper, wider. Any approach actually is okay, and there's none that claims to be the right one or something like that. I just want to give you a few tips. You have to find your own way how to achieve a good rough mix or how to achieve a good starting point for a mix. But I will try to give you some tips and some thoughts that might help maybe to get the first step into making a mix that makes a picture of the song you want to display or you want to show or you want to put in the background of a video or something like that without being the final version. Of course, just like with the final mix and the master as well, you have to be aware of that it gets easier the better you recorded the signals. I don't know, maybe you just the audio engineer, the mixing engineer, and you get the tracks, yeah? You put the tracks into your DAW, into your DAW, you import the tracks, you set them up, the right order and things like that. Or maybe you are involved from the beginning. You were the engineer to record, or maybe you're even the producer and record and mix and everything. Actually, in that case, it's better because you know the song. Because you know where to look for certain spots, and especially you know musically what's the message of the song. Message, of course, you have the words, you have the lyrics. That's a message, but you also have a musical message in sort of a way that you want to highlight. Maybe that's like a picture. You take just a picture you draw with a pencil to show somebody something, and then you take a text marker, maybe a pink one and a yellow one and a green one, and you highlight certain things. This is important, and then you put a dart there, an arrow there. This connects to this and is also important, and then it takes over here. So you could make a picture visually. You could also make it in the mix for your ears. Then you have, if you know the song already, and if you're involved in the writing, or maybe you're the artist yourself, recording yourself, you know where the main corners and the main spots of the songs are, and what you want to present actually to show what the song is about. Of course, later on, you go in detail. You make it here nicer, there nicer, carve out little things, and so on. But of course, you can also make a quick mix if you don't know the song that well. You should also think musically in that case, and not too technically. What I want to say is, it's a mistake of a lot of sound engineers, and they often make it to approach mixing or anything they do with music in a technical way. Some people think there is a certain way you have to adjust a bass drum. It has to be low cut here, and it has to be compressed like that. There is no there's no book where it says how to mix certain signals, because it's a bass drum. It's not always mixed the same. It's depending on the bass drum, it's depending on the recording, it's depending on what role it plays in the song, how it's supposed to sound, and how the overall sound is gonna be. So it's for every song, the kick is different. So don't think too technically. Try to focus musically. That's why it's also so important to have a little bit musical understanding. Even if you're a pure mixing engineer, you should dive a little bit into music. That's why we offer in our courses also a little bit knowledge about music, about arrangement and so forth, because we think it's important also to make good mixes and good masters. So listen to the song. Let's think you just got the tracks, the single signals, audio signals, and then you should listen to the song. And then there's things that catch you. Mostly it's the main vocal. The main vocal, they should be in front. They transport the message of the lyrics. They transport the face, sort of the audible face of the band or of the music or of the singer. So it should be presented in a present way, in a good way. And you have to focus a little bit on that. What's behind that is important as well. Of course, you have to have a solid beat. You have to have a round, low end, and things like that. But overall, you have to focus on the main thing. So you have to have a stable beat. You have to have a good bed, actually, of harmony. Maybe it's a guitar, maybe it's the keyboards, maybe it's a piano or whatever it is, as a bed for the vocals. they stand on top on and where they could make themselves comfortable at. And then they could shine, and they have a little bit support from the harmonies played, the different chords, and then they could shine with their melody. So you have to put this in an order, sort of. Stable beat, then a bed of harmony, and then bed the vocals on top of that. Then you also have some melody instruments, maybe some intro line that, or maybe some solo that takes over the vocal. All these instrumental, melody instruments, they should be at the same level like the vocals actually, so a little bit sort of like that. So these are important things. Then you have to think musically. Is it now important to have this? There's a great guitar in a song. There was a great guitar player playing like hell, wild thing, great sound, and then you have a lot of fun listening to it. And when you mix it, you tend to make that too loud because you stress that too much. It's not important for a song. It's not important to show how good a guitarist is if you want to show a song with vocals, for example. So not only in pop or rock music, but also in other genres, you should always think of what's important in the song and what's the mood it should transport. Is it a sad song? Is it an aggressive song? Is it slow? Is it fast? Could it sound maybe a little bit more edgy to underline the message of the song, of the lyrics maybe? Does it have to be soft? Either way, you have to think of that. You have to musically think of that. So it's a general tip of mine is maybe to always listen to music, to different kinds of music. Not always the same you like, but make yourself open for other kinds of music. Listen to it and get familiar with it and get used to it and try to focus on what's really in front. A good tip for that is, for example, you listen to music and make it very quiet. Make a song you're very familiar with, and which is common or maybe was a big hit. Make it very quiet so that you just hear it a little bit. And then you can tell what's important. You will hear the voice, and you will hear a little bit of the beat. And if it's very quiet, you won't hear too much of harmonies, of course. That's physically and biologically with your ear not possible. But it's a good way to find out what's important in a song. And that's, by the way, also a good tip always if you're making a final mix. Sometimes in between, always turn the volume down very much so that you could hardly hear it. And then you hear if something pops out too much, if there's suddenly the snare pops out or the cymbals or maybe a guitar figure that plays a high note or something like that suddenly is loud and can be heard when you have it quiet. It's too loud mostly. Of course, there's exceptions. Maybe it's wanted like that. It's a very special part or something like that. But to have a quick mix, a rough mix, you should consider all these things. So it's not about the technical approach to mixing. Minus this and plus this and the root of that and times P and times whatever. It's about listening and about a little bit your feeling you have and trying to get into the music rather than into your parameters of your plugins. And maybe with a rough mix, we don't even need plugins, or maybe not much. It's not about the technical approach to mixing, like I said, but it's about the audible result. Actually, what you hear later is what counts. It's like having a picture you want to put on the wall. Yeah, then you take a nail and a hammer. And then the audio engineer will talk and justify and glorify the nail and the hammer. And the hammer they bought and what it costed and what it can do and whatever and whatever. It doesn't matter as long as that picture's in the right height and it's not crooked. Nobody asks for the hammer. Nobody will ask you, oh, how did you do the bass drum? Or what plug-in did you use there? How many seconds is the decay of your reverb and pre-delay and whatever? Especially for quick mixes or for rough mixes, get a little bit into a musical way of thinking and not so much technical. Yeah? That's one tip I want to give you because I think that's very important. Of course, the tools and procedures used are really are not really debatable as long as they don't compromise the sound quality too much. Okay, you can compare it also with a car. The engineer who built it will explain. He will justify, give reasons. None of it is any use if the driver doesn't feel comfortable. It's all about how do you feel when you drive, and not what wrench or what screw or whatever is used. So let's start. Quick mix. Let's say you got a few tracks from somebody and you have to mix it. Yeah, you don't really know the song that well. Maybe there's a demo. You could ask the person who sent you the mix, or let's say you did it yourself and then you have maybe a first demo. Maybe you're a guitarist, you play guitar, you sing to it, then you have it already. It's the harmonies and the singing. That's in the focus. And everything else you have to build around it. That's with a final mix like that, and it's with a rough mix the same. You have to, put the vocal and the main things into a good light, into a good picture. So you import all tracks, or you recorded the tracks, whatever, into a project. And you should always use at least the same audio solution in your project as the audio signals are recorded with. Makes no sense to lower that, actually. And then you have to get used to a common order. You can see it here, actually, a little bit. I have here a very simple song, which is actually more a demo. But maybe you have to make a quick mix of a demo. So I thought it's maybe not a bad idea to have like not single drum tracks recorded with a real drummer, but rather like MIDI drums, different ones, things like that. You should get used to the to a proper order or a common order. That's first the percussive signals, drums, percussions, then the bass usually. And if you always use the same, actually, you're quicker at the end. And then you have the harmony instruments. Then to stay at the instrumental, you have melody instruments. If maybe a guitar takes over, if there's an intro theme. And then you have the vocals. On top, first of all, main vocals and then backing vocals, if you have any. So that's you can see it here. I have here 2 drum kits mixed and a hi-hat extra. I have here Schelle is the German word for tambourine. That's a played tambourine recorded with a microphone. The next I have the bass. Then I have a guitar, because it plays a main role, and a piano. These 2 harmony instruments are actually the bed I talked about before. Here, this little guitar, these 4 clips here, they have a little melody, so they're tending more to the melody instrument, not so much the harmony. The piano. Then I have the main vocal, and I have backing vocals. So as you can see, it's a demo. It's not really the colors are not really done, and the names are not really properly done either. Bad mistake. You should always do that. Actually, it's a bad example I'm showing you, because what you should do. We have here green for percussives, so I will take this here too. I'm using Logic. I'm sure you're familiar with your own DAW, your own digital audio station, and then you could use colors actually to group things and to have a quicker look at it and see. And if you move things, you don't get lost too much. So in Logic, I use where is it? Ansicht, da. Colors. So I have now this tambourine chosen, and I want to have it some sort of green too, so that it fits to the other rhythmical instruments. The bass I make more rather a little bit towards yellow. It's still rhythmic, but has already tone. Okay, we leave the harmony blue. Guitars are different from the piano. It's a little bit lighter blue, and the vocals then I make red, and the backing vocals maybe a little bit darker or something like that. So now this makes more sense. Then you have visually grouped already, and you easily find where you want to go to the song and to what track you want to go. Of course, you could zoom the way you want. Yeah, that's actually for the mix irrelevant. To be honest, relevant for the mix is your mixer, as the name says. You have to imagine yeah, I don't know. When I started doing music and recording music and being booked as a musician, as a session musician or something like that, there was no computers and there was no screens or something like that. There was a mixing console and there was a tape machine. At my times, it was like a 2-inch, 24-track tape machine, and you had no visual things. You had an EQ with knobs or something like that, not with a curve or colorful or something like that. And it's cool to see a lot of things. It's really cool to see all this stuff you want to see. If you look at the arrangement window here again, it's cool. Here you can see the waveform, and here, and you see this is a MIDI track and so on. But you have to concentrate not on what you see, but what you hear. You want to mix for the ears. You don't want to mix for the eye. Nobody who's listening to your song has something in front of the eyes and sees something, except maybe a video, something like that, or some other visual content, but not your DAW. And your senses are occupied when you use them. That means if you concentrate on listening, you don't need all this visual. Let me cover it up even more. So you have just this mixer here. I have the same thing. I have here the drum kits, 2 drum kits here. Or the hi-hat extra. Here I have this tambourine, bass, guitars, piano, and so on. This is what I see. Now, a good starting point is to, well, you start with the drums. Let's solo them. I have 2 drum sets here instead of single drum tracks, just for simplifying now and to show you. What you should always do, you should, put them into your project, import them sort of, put actually everything to 0, solo it maybe. Let me mute the other drum tracks now for now. Okay, I have this first drum kit here. You should always somehow level it around 6, because when you start here with 0 or something like that, then you have the problem, this is all summing up. And at the end, the master will have too much level. Then you have to limit it, and then you have the limiting effects, which take away the dynamics, which could cause some pumping or something like that. Always start quiet. We're in a digital world. You used to have enough level in the ancient times. First of all, not to have the bad noise too loud, and second of all, to have a little bit saturation from the tape. We don't have this anymore. We don't need to record in the red or at 0 or something like that. It's not necessary. It shouldn't be too quiet, of course, but it shouldn't be too loud. So if you could start at maybe around -6 or something like that with the drums. So you should, if you have single tracks, kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, hi-hat, overheads, toms, whatever, you should level them sort of in a way so that it comes to an overall -6 dB or something like that. Then you have enough headroom for the rest, actually. Yeah. So let's hear that. I have everything muted that has volume. Everything else is down. Slap is a delay. The drum bus I have up. That's important. All drum tracks I haven't done now with these 2 drum or 3 drum parts as well. You should root them always. That's a quick thing. Bass 32, drum bass. Then you have later, especially in the quick mix the possibility to put something on it in a quick way without working on each single track. Like hi-hat here, and now this tom plays twice in the song. I take 10 minutes to cue it or whatever. Of course, you have to do it in the mix, but not in the quick mix. You could, if you use a bass, you could later on just put something on there that helps to stabilize maybe the beat or to make it stable enough to carry the song. Yeah, it has advantages, of course, in the final mix as well. You should always use groups. It's always easier, especially for leveling. If you want to make the drums louder, you don't need to use each track and put it up, but you just make the drum bass louder. Anyway, -6 for the first drum kit. I used the drum kit designer here from Logic. It doesn't actually matter. Let's start it. As you can hear, you hear nothing. Why is that? Just a moment. Let it run. You hear a drum set, right? I have it on -6, so that I have a little bit headroom. It is quite loud, actually, this drum set, so maybe it could be even a little bit more down. So that's a good start. For sound, for this, demo, actually, I put another drum set to it. I could show it to you in solo. There's no hi-hat to it, so I put an extra hi-hat on it with a different sound. So I have these 3 sounds together. Let me run together. So I get a nice drum sound, actually. So I have now quite some volume. I take it down even more. To have more headroom, you need headroom at the end. So if you start too loud, then to adjust everything later is harder, actually. So rather start off with a little bit less. As you can see here, we're really at the low level. It's just mixed to have a little bit more grip. And the reverb is actually the preset. If you look at it, this is an addictive drummer. Maybe you're familiar with this, maybe not, I don't know. There's a reverb on it here. That's the easy way. It's now for the quick mix to have a reverb on it, but you could also turn it off because it's not important for the song, actually. So then you have sort of a level. Of course, if you have a real recorded drum sets, you have to take a little more time. Adjust the kick, adjust the snare, the 2 snare microphones, overheads, hi-hat, whatever. Let's say we have done this. You have some additional, how do you say it? Percussions, actually, some rhythmical elements. I can show you the solo. Then you put up the volume here. Let's go to the refrain. So here you can see it's actually the rhythm itself. The 8ths are a little bit quiet and the hit is quite loud. That's crying for a little bit compression. But I leave it for now because it's supposed to be a quick mix. It's not supposed to take half a day, but just half an hour, actually. So I leave it the way it is. I put it back on 0. Now let's go back to the mixer, like I said in the beginning. I put it back to 0. Have the drums starting. Let's moment. I'm using a loop where the tambourine is playing a lot. So let's put it that way. So now we have here the mixer. I have it on 0. I play the drums. And then I put this to it. It's not playing an important role, so I shouldn't make it like this. That's like 1960 Beach Boys. You just want to have a little bit more real feel and a little bit high frequencies. Off. On. Could be a little more. Yeah. So. Next important step, you do it just the same. You have the bass on 0. If you do it that way, you tend to make it too quiet, especially the bass. It's not playing that important role for the song itself. Of course, it plays a very important role for the music, but you tend to make it too quiet. Seems loud enough, but actually you need something like that to carry the low frequencies of the song. So now you have already like sort of a rhythmical structure. Let me put it this way. Right? That's the first start. I wanna turn off the reverb because I think makes more sense for a quick mix now. Doesn't play an important role. It makes a little bit more depth, of course, speciality, which is important later in the final mix. But here I think you have a solid rhythmical bass. There's still some room on the recordings or on the samples of the snare, but that's okay for now. So I want to show you the song, how it's supposed to sound later, so that you get an idea. I think that makes more sense. Well, I want to repeat, you should not focus on details like the speciality, but rather general characteristics, a beat. If it has to be in a small room, well, we have now samples with already a small room on the snare, fine. And for a quick mix, either you need none of this or maybe just one small room and one little bit bigger reverb. That's it. If it's important for the song and to picture the song, maybe a delay plays a big role in the music, of course you need to add it, yeah. But otherwise, leave it out. You could do this in the final mix. You want to show the song and what the song is about, and not what your delay is about or what your reverb is about. You just want the song to hit, to say it in that way. Like I said, make groups, drum groups. Then you should make a keyboard group, guitar group, and of course a vocal group. You don't need a group actually for the main vocal. You could put it in the vocal group, or you could make a backing vocal group. You could decide this yourself, or what suits you better. But in general, actually groups are very helpful, especially making a quick mix. So I want to show you the song so that you get an idea. Let's just listen to it maybe for a minute or so that you get an idea what it's about. And then I show you how to get there. So as you heard, the guitar in the beginning is actually, the intro melody. It has to be stable, it has to be in front, it has to be heard. And now it has to be taken over by the vocals.
It was always on my mind one day I'd live like kings. Dream to have a gravel path and a building with 2 wings. 'Cause what you really, really want is to escape. Ooh. And the real world sure can wait. That's one dream you have when you are young. But you see the way it takes, the way is very long. And it seems to me what was haunting me was something else I had no clue. One day it dawned to me, it made me say, the day that I met you.
Melody again. So you have the vocals in front, you have a bed of guitar and piano, you have this melody from the guitar, and actually that's your hierarchies you should put in an order. What's in front, what's more behind. Of course, always consider drum shouldn't be too quiet, it needs a stable rhythmical bass. The bass needs to be loud enough to carry the song from the low frequencies, and so on. So now you heard the song. We are at the rhythmical things with the bass now. A little bit more. Now, how important was the guitar? There's these 2 guitars. I have this little melody. Let me see which is which. The first guitar is the little melody. We make the second, so we take this guitar. Play the song. Just put it up. It's not important to be heard too much. I have to mention, I'm not a guitarist, and I played this guitar. I'm not able to play guitar. I just wanted to get a picture of that song. So I recorded something with 2 fingers. So don't judge me the way I play guitar. It's just about the sound, and it's about the arrangement of the song. You have in mind there's also piano, which carries together with this guitar the harmony bed. We pan this a little bit. The piano is already naturally panned a little bit to the right because I play quite high. Then the piano sample I used is the highs are more in the right on the right side. As you can see, I mean, I played. You see it at the meter here that it's already a little bit to the right. So this is all you have to do. So you have this. Actually, now you have this box in which you can carry the song. Guitar is still a little loud if you listen to the drums. What you should do now is listen to the drums while you do the others. You have now the guitar and the piano on, and then focus your ear a little bit on the drums. Now you can hear the tambourine a little too loud, and the guitar and the piano are a little loud. Genau. So now we have that intro. I put my loop there so that I can hear the intro. This guitar, which plays this little melody, this should be more prominent. It should be more in front, so you make it simply louder. Pan it. On the other side of the guitar, maybe in the middle. Again, the intro. It's always a good way to fade it in from zero. Let's do it again. And you don't get too quiet. It should be clearly audible, but not on top of the mix. Again. I think that's a cool way. So the main element, vocals, just the same. Let me look for the where the vocals start, which is here. You can see it here. Here's the vocals, and you just do it the same way. Actually, you have them. I have no plug-in on it, just as recorded, not edited, nothing. I just put the volume a little bit up. Okay, what you could quickly hear there is they're not stable. I have to make them quite loud to make them really audible and to make them, to understand the lyrics. And then sometimes they're too loud and the quiet are still too quiet. In that case, even in a rough mix, and as it's the important and the main element of the song, you have to use a little compressing, of course. What I like to use, let me show you this now, is some plugins which have presets, of course. In this one, this is like a Waves plugin, I think it is. Yeah, Waves. It has 2 DSs. It has a preamp for a little bit saturation to get some silky highs. Filter, of course, low highs. And then an equalizer. It has a compressor. Gate, I don't need really so much for the vocals. I rather cut them later in the mix or edit them. So that's the Andrew Shepp's Omni channel, it's called. There's others. There's like SSL vocal strip, for example. And there is, if you use maybe an EQ and a compressor, in that case now we're talking about compressing of your DAW, then use a preset that says vocals. Like I tried out a few. Here I use this, it's called Vocal 2 Acro. Whatever, why it's called acro, aggression, whatever. It doesn't sound that aggressive, but it has this compressor I wanted. It boosts a little bit the high mids, and these two, actually the lows do nothing. The S-ing doesn't really do nothing. I could turn it minus well off. This takes a little bit, gain and a little bit saturation to make it sound silky and a little bit more open. And I have especially the compressor important.
It was always on my mind one day I'd live like kings.
Okay. That way, it becomes more stable.
It was always on my mind one day I'd live like
Now
king.
it's stable enough to make it quiet again.
Dream to have a grave of
And as you can hear, it starts sitting into that bed of the of the harmony instruments without being lost in it. So it's not on top of it and lost without connection to it, but it's inside the music. And as I stabilized it with the compressor, I could make it even quiet again.
on my mind one day I'd live like king.
Now you can see here the compressing
Dream to have a
a little bit too much.
path and a building with two wings.
And you can also hear the saturation I used. This fits quite well to the song.
It was always on my mind one day I'd live
Without-
like kings.
But I just used the preset. So you could use any other. Let's take a look what else I have. There is, for example, what I like to use also SSL vocal strip, something like that. Takes a moment to open here. You can see the vocal strip. It has compander, that's something like a compressor, a de-esser, deploser for the noises, and an equalizer. It's actually the same. I have trouble using this because it's not so easy to adjust for me. Others like others. Or you just simply use some compressor and use a preset. So if you want to have a quick approach, as you heard, the vocals weren't really stable enough to make them quiet and sit in the mix. I had to make them loud and then they pop out. So in that case, you have to use a little compression. I also took the chance, boosted the high mids a little bit, put a little bit saturation on it. Gate actually and de-essing is off. As I have very loud S
It was
noises,
always on my mind one
especially
day
with the
I'd
saturation,
live like
I put the
kings.
HOFA de-esser on it.
Dream to have a grave, a path, and a building with two wings.
It doesn't really sound very natural now, but it doesn't matter for the quick mix. You have to have these vocals in front without popping out. So I use this vocal de-esser, just set the threshold a little bit down here. As you can see,
It was always on
these
my
orange
mind
ones
one
are the
day
S's, they're a
I'd
little
live
bit
like-
taken down. So all together,
It was always on my mind one day
could even make it more
I'd
quiet.
live like kings.
Actually, that was a quick mix. It's of course it's very easy because I have a drum kit that's already mixed in sort of a way, and each sample sounds already quite good. Still, we just took now from starting maybe 20 minutes for the quick mix, actually. So you have to always consider how much do you have to do? How much do you need? There's backing vocals. Let me put them on as well. Where are they? They start here.
You have
Now they're still off.
what you dream you have when you are young.
Just a little bit to support the vocals.
But you see the way it
Although
takes
also they should be a little bit stabilized. I use the same plugin here with this saturation, the aggro with this compression,
something else I had no clue.
and I put the compressor on and it's too loud. So I put it a little bit down.
You have when
So that's it. I have no reverb, I have no delay, I have no special gimmicks or whatever on it, and it works. Of course, here you see active is the guitar amps. I just played into the DAW without any amp. I could turn this off, then you could hear it. Just a moment, then this sounds really, really poor. That's it. Put the amp on. Of course, I need that. Also for the quick mix, or else it doesn't work, of course. But everything else is actually off. I have no, special plugins on. You could use now for the piano something if you want. I like to use here this Greg Wells Adds a little bit highs, adds a little bit crunch actually, without distortion, and makes it a little bit better audible. So start from the beginning with the melody in the beginning. And now let's compare with the mix. That wasn't the final mix either, but it was with reverb and with everything, quite some mix already, a little more than a rough mix. It's mastered, so it's louder. The melody is there. So, and the vocals take over. The same with our quick mix. Of course it makes sense, especially for the vocals, to put some speciality on it. I have here a slap delay, which is this typical rock and roll thing. Let's put it on the solo, the vocals. Where is it?
I live like kings. Dream to have a grave, a path, and a building with two.
Maybe this is also part of the quick mix to have a little bit more of that, rock and roll feeling. But all in all, that's it. Actually, you don't need to go in detail too much. You don't have to now take this tambourine and take the lows out. It has quite a lot of. Well, it's okay with this one, but sometimes you have these low boomy frequencies in recordings or something like that. Maybe you have to cut them a little bit, but you could also put it on the drum bus and cut the drum bus on maybe 40 hertz or something like that. Then you don't have that either, or maybe 60 hertz. You don't have that either. You don't need to have a frequency range which couldn't be played in a club or something like that. You just want to show your song, or you want to put it in the background of a film. You can use always these preset plugins. For example, for the drums, or what also works. Now this I showed you already. This is the drum strip. You could use some tape emulation that puts a little bit more highs and a little bit more depth in it. Let me show it to you. Just a moment. We put just the drums on. This is a tape emulation. Gets a little bit more open, a little bit wider. It's just a preset drum kit. That's it. Or maybe you use here a saturator. Yeah, this is a saturator just on the drum bus. Even a little bit more silky highs, a little bit more depth. Now listen to it all together. Take the solo out. Drum sound a little bit. Actually, you're already too loud, right? I go back here. Take this off. That's better like that. And then at the end, of course, you could put a limiter on it to make it a little bit more loud. I put here the this is actually the Logic limiter on it. You could put then also some preset I have here. This is like a mastering preset plugin. It's a plugin for mastering. It has mainly this equalizer and a little bit stereo width here, spreader it's called, and something like that. Also here I just used some sort of preset. It's called Mix Glue. Don't be afraid using presets for quick mix. Now all together, I don't think this is now like far away from a real mix, to be honest. You can show the song, you can show the main elements. It has a stable rhythmical basses, and yeah, it could picture what you want to say with that song. Of course, that's now a rock and roll song. It fits on any genre. If you have like an electronic thing and you have one synthesizer sound or sample sound that's important for the song, then this should be stabilized in front. Not loud. Loud is not the same. Loud in front is mostly then disconnected from the mix. It should be stabilized and then put into the mix, but still be audible and receivable as the main element of the song. The rhythmic should always be, the beat should always be stable, should carry the song. Of course, in the electronic genre, you need the bass drum. Maybe then you don't use a low cut. It should always have this low punch. But all in all, the most important tip I can give you is start with 0, put on the drums maybe at -6, maybe start with the kick at -6 and then put the others to it. And then you start moving them up. If you have, for example, let's try it again with the guitar. Let's turn this one off in the beginning. So if you make that, a lot of people make that mistake. They listen to this guitar. So here, I have this guitar. Ah, cool. I have to make it louder. Yeah, okay, cool. I adjust my amp maybe. I have this amp. A little bit more lows, whatever. Ah, cool, yeah. Ah, super. Now I start the song again. It's too loud. Then you're used to this loudness. You make it a little bit more quiet. Ah, yeah, cool, now it's quiet. You wait for 5 minutes, listen to it again, and you will find out it's still far too loud. I promise you. So what you have to do, put it on 0. Put it from the bottom up. Very important. One thing I want to tell you as final tips, actually, more than one thing, actually. Take breaks. Listen to different kinds of music. If you adjusting your low end, how loud is the bass? Maybe I put a little EQ on it. I have the time to put an EQ on it, or a boost, or the drum, the kick, or something, and I work on that maybe for 20 minutes or for 10 minutes. And then I put the other elements back on. Then I will have the feeling this is too quiet, and I will put it up, and it will be too loud because your ears get used to that. Your ear actually is your sort of your friend and your enemy. When you have a mix and you put, there's no time to show you now, I should have done it in the beginning, but what you can do is overdo it. Overdo a mix, yeah? Take maybe the hi-hat, make it loud and make it sharp. Something like that. Or the guitar with a lot of highs, make it aggressive. Oh, great aggressive guitar. Put it in your mix and leave the mix and listen to it the next day. Put it on and you will fall off your chair because this guitar knocks you out. It's too much. Your ear got used to it while you were adjusting. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. You get used to everything. Your ear is so slow. You put in too much lows or not enough highs, and listening for a while, more than twice to the song in that way, you will get used to it. If you compare it then to other music, which is normal, commonly received normal, you will think, this other music has not enough highs, because your ear's used to too many highs, too much of it. So always make breaks and always compare. And quick mix, of course, you can't let it lay for a night or for 2 nights or something like that, but at least get up, get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe go out and have a walk outside for 5 minutes, or take some fresh air or something like that, go back in, listen to it again. And if you're not sure with that guitar that we were talking about now, do it again. Yeah, you listen to it then. Oh, it's okay now. I got it quite well. But you will tend to do it like this. So always take breaks. Of course, all this depends a little bit on the quality of your recorded signals. If your signals are not good, You will not get a good quick mix or a final mix. It's not possible. Um, Always consider that the recording is more important than the mix. You can't fix it in the mix. That's something that a lot of people say. Of course, you can fix a lot of things nowadays with the possibilities we have in the mix, but that's not the way it's supposed to be. You should record properly, have good signals, and then it's so easy to mix. Sometimes a mix is not far away from just putting the levels up because it sounds good. Put a little bit speciality, a little bit panorama, left, right, whatever. Maybe this there, stress something, make an automation, something like that. But all in all, if the signals are good and recorded in the way it's supposed to be for the song, you don't need to mix much, and you don't have to do a lot at all for a quick mix. That's a tip I can give you. Yeah, pauses, like I said. And yeah, in general, I can say a good song cannot be spoiled. Yeah, cannot be spoiled by a bad mix. There's a lot of hits, worldwide hits, sold millions and millions and millions, which don't sound good, but it's a really great song. And it hits the people or touches people. The other way around, a bad song mixed in a perfect way in the most expensive and best studio in the world by the best mixing engineer and then mastered for a lot of money will not be a good song. And it will not cover that you've recorded bad signals. It could try to fix it and try to transport it in a way so that it's there, but it's not going to be good. So take care of the arrangement, of course, songwriting, things like that. What makes the mix easy as well, that's my last tip for today. Arrangement. If you have musicians, I know this from the live field. I played a lot of tours and things like that. And you have to arrange your music with the other musicians to make it transportable on a bigger stage, because there's so much loudness and noise. You have to stress the most important signals. You can't do here little and there little who and ha. That nobody will hear it. It just puts, it's just a munch then. It's just no more definable really. So if you're into the arrangement process, you should take care that the guitar and a piano, for example, if it's like that, piano and guitar don't play the same frequencies, the same range, the same notes. Maybe it's enough for the piano to play 2 notes instead of the whole chord, maybe 2 notes. And the guitarist plays 3 notes, which are around them. So then you have a nice full thing, and the guitar and the piano will not cover up each other. So it's not about mixing. I have to take this frequency and compress here and there, the technical side, but the musical side. A good band will sound good without mixing. They have their band sound and they sound good, and the songs work without changing everything they played. That's my last tip. I think, yeah, all in all, as I said in the beginning, you can do it any way you want. Just do it quick and just do it. Actually, it's an advantage to do a quick mix because you get to the main thing of the song. Everything else could be done afterwards. There's this Pareto principle, 20-80. 20% of your work, mixing, yields 80% of the result. The rest is details. And you shouldn't get lost in the details. So try it yourself. Try mixing quickly. Make breaks. Try maybe this one experiment. Put too much harsh highs into some sort of signal. Mix it. And then leave it maybe just for experiment, maybe for 2 or 3 days. And then come back to it, put it on. And you will find out, I thought actually it was okay. But it was not. I hope it helped you. And I wish that you had a lot of fun doing that course, that workshop, sorry. There's more of that, of course, in the HOFA courses. We take a lot of effort in showing the musical side of audio technique and audio mixing and audio engineering, because actually that's the material we're working with. we're not working with plugins. We're not working with tools or something like that. Like this example with the hammer, I said it doesn't matter what hammer that is. It might make it easier for you to hit the nail in the wall, but nobody cares about this hammer. It's about what you hear or the picture you see, or you visualize music, if you will, and it's important how that result is. And there you should go. Therefore, you should go a little bit in a musical way to it, in a emotional way, and more intuitive way than a technical way. That's the main tip I can give you. And always take breaks. Your ear might be trained after a while, but even professional, highly booked audio engineers always take, after half an hour or something like that, they take a 15-minute break. It's normal like that. Yeah? I wish you had fun. I hope you had good inspiration for your mixes, and maybe try yourself quick mix, make the experiment, fumble around a little bit, take it easy. Maybe we'll see you at the HOFA-College at some time. We have a lot more of this, of course, in the HOFA campus for our students. Have a good time, and bye-bye. My name is Tobi at HOFA-College. I hope to see you again. Bye.